Hello, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well. It's Dave here, the fat lad on a barbecue, back with you this afternoon. And I've got a bit of an experiment going on today because something arrived in the post, in the mail, by delivery this very morning. And it's this. And this would be the barbecue hood for my Thueros T1. And it fits on my Thueros T1 absolutely perfectly, so I'm gonna have a play and see whether I can get some kind of system going so that I can use the barbecue hood to actually do a nice bit of pork. Why don't you join me and see how I get on? It's a first for me. Let's get into it. The whole thing about barbecuing, for me at any rate, as I say, what is it, a year and 13 months on, is trying different ways to cook different things so that we get different flavours, different textures, different levels of enjoyment and stuff like that. So that's what this is all about today. The idea is to see whether I can use the Thueros with the hood to do a chunk of pork. Now I'm going to need to experiment before I do, because I need to know that I've got the right amount of charcoal giving me the right amount of heat, but not right underneath the pork's bum, as it were. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the ProQ Coco Briquettes that I've already used because I know them, although I do have some Coco Cabana ones to look at and we'll talk about those later. I'm firstly going to work out how many bricks it's going to take, and then I'm going to work out whether or not I'm going to get the heat I want. And the only way I can do that is by doing a dummy run, if you like. So that's what I'm going to do. Come and join me. Let's see how we get on with this. You'll have noticed that buzzing's gone now. It's because I've turned the fan heater off. It's bloody freezing out here. It's about 6 degrees outside, and you can see it's a grey day if you look out the window. So I'm going to start piling a few briquettes on, which you will see on that camera there. Now the size of these things is not huge. Let's go over to the other camera. If I put it beside my mouth, there it is, look, barely even hides my mouth. So that's the size of them, and I reckon it's not going to take too many to actually make this work. So all I'm going to do is just line them up along here. Like this. That'll do. Now, heat there. The size pork I'm going to be using is about the size of my hand, so that's going to be there about this high. I think that'll work. If I put the right side, that should be good. So now the thing to do is to put that away, get the chimney starter and get it going. So here I have my chimney starter. There we've got the bricks. I'm hoping that this is going to work out all right. It might not. I might have to be a little bit careful how I arrange them in here to make it work. When there's bits of gap in, well, we'll only try. We'll get them lit. Burning without smoke, lovely. And we'll put the chimney on. And then I would suggest I need to wait. So I'm going to have 5 minutes sit while this sorts itself out, and then we'll see where we go. I'll be back in a bit. Hello, welcome back. The wood wool shaving things, firelighters, have stopped flaming. As you can see, there's just a little pile of ash, and that's what I've got. So what I'm going to do is tip them out, put this on my little shelf down below, because hot air rises, don't you know, and then I'm going to get me Thueros charcoal tongs and line them up and see where we get from there. There is some heat, I'm pleased to say, and I think I've probably got my hands in the way, and I do apologise. This might seem like a clart and a fart and a carry on, and indeed it is. But all the bricks appear to have at least lit, which is something. And I'm going to arrange them, if I can, with a little bit of an air gap between them. Now, like I say, this might seem like a clart and a fart and a carry on, and indeed it is, but oh look, that one's nicely done. So we'll put that one in the middle, there, and I'm just going to stick that one right at the side on the top, and then all I'm going to do is put the lid on and leave the vents wide open, and then we'll see what temperature we get to in a while. So there's the lid on, and as you can see, the vents are wide open. So we'll leave that as it stands and see what temperature we get to and see where we get from there. The idea behind this, what I'm doing, is so that I can get used to what's going on. So I've not done this before, so the idea, as I say, is for me to get used to it before I actually put some meat on. Otherwise, it's going to end up, I've got a damn good chance of getting it all wrong. But just to let you know, I've listed here the stuff that I'm using, so you can see exactly what it is I'm getting on with. I should also point out that I have paid for everything that you see. I've paid for the briquettes, they've come from Amazon. I've paid for the hood, alright, I got a decent deal on it, and the tongs were thrown in, thank you very much, David. He's also sent some briquettes for me to try, which I'm going to do. They're the Copacabana ones. So I've paid for all of the Thueros stuff and everything else that I'm using. I've had nothing for free. So there you go. It's not sponsored. This is not an advertisement. Just so you know, what you're seeing is me, Dave, the fat lad, on the barbecue, bumbling me way around. Right, we'll see how this gets on. I'm going to have a quick look now. And at the moment, we've managed to hit 100 degrees centigrade straight away. This augurs well, I think. I think I might be able to make this work. Look, can you see? I hope you can. That's 100 degrees showing on the Thueros thermometer, which, by the way, you have to install yourself, and I don't have a problem with that. So yes, the coals at the back, the vent at the front, and we'll see how we go from there. What I'm going to be looking to doing is to get it to around about 150, 160 degrees Celsius, centigrade, not freedom height, and that would be, what would it be? It says on here somewhere, does it? Let's have a look and see. Put your head in the way, David. Yeah, I'm going to be looking for about 300 degrees freedom height is what I'm aiming for, and if we can get it to there, that'll be corking. Right, back with you when I know a little bit more about what's going on. Just a quick one. There are times I wonder to myself, I've put the grid on. I didn't have the grid on before. I've put the grid on now, and that has the effect actually of opening up the airflow a little bit, because there's little holes, as you'll be able to see, where the grid itself sticks out from under the hood. So I've stuck the grid on. Back to you in a bit. Oh, just a sec. We're coming up to 120 degrees. That's in about 2 minutes from putting the lid back on. It's not bad, you know. It's not bad. Right, back in a bit. Well, here we are, around about 10-15 minutes later. I haven't exactly kept an eye on the time, because what's the point? Time doesn't matter at the minute. And as you'll be able to see here, we're up into the red, into the grilling area. So what I'm going to do now is knock the airflow back to 4 little holes. As you'll be able to see here, 4 little holes. And I'm going to see what difference that makes. But let's have a quick look at the coals. And yes, I've put the grid in. You can see they've all ashed over. So they are burning quite well. All right, they're not completely ashed over, but they're not doing too badly. So if I just stick the lid back on, the hood I should say, not the lid, and drop the holes down a little bit, let's see where we get with that. See whether that drops the temperature a little. Now, what time are we at? We're about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and normally I do these things to cook in time for tea, as it were. Science, isn't it? Science. Science is what it is. Question is the temperature dropping? No, it's not. Right, I'll be back in a bit. Right, I've been and prepared a chunk of pork to go on, and I'm going to do the same when I look at the Copacabana, Copacabana, however, which I'm going to use the same sort of thing. I've got a temperature of 190 degrees on the Thueros at the minute, and what I'm going to do, having prepared this and salted it down the way I normally would, so you can see it's nice and salty, I'm going to stick it on, but I'm going to face the rind, the skin, towards the coals to see whether I can get some crackling. But first, of course, I need a meter, and today I'm going to use Probe 3 on the basis that I haven't used it before. So we'll shove that, there's the middle, shove that in there and get it on. Lovely sizzle. So there it is. Can you see the coals? I don't know that you'll be able to now that I've put that on. They've all lashed up. So put that there, and that's it. Back with you when we get closer towards the end. Well, this is interesting. This has really got me curiosity piqued now. As you can see over here on the meter, I'm showing a temperature of 153 degrees and 152. It's going up and down between 152, 153, 151, as you can see at the minute. There it is. But if we go over to the Thueros, we can see a temperature of exactly 180 being shown at the thermometer here. Exactly 180 is where that's at. So there's 30 degrees difference. Now, I don't know whether the meter underreads or whether this is overreading. I've no idea which way that goes. Either way, 153 degrees is fine. I probably won't get any crackling at that, but that will do the job of actually cooking me pork, barbecuing me pork, if you want to call it that, which is what I will call it. I just think it's interesting, and I thought I would let you know. Right, back in a bit. Hello again. Can you see? If I push out there, you probably can. 145 degrees it says. We're at 43. We've got 15 minutes remaining. So what I want to do is have a quick look and see what it's doing. And I'm going to open up the vents all the way because I want to try and get some crackling. So I want to see if I can get the temperature up a bit. Oh, it doesn't look bad though, but no crackling. Well, there is on the bottom. So I'm going to place it like that and see whether or not we can get some crackling. We'll see how it goes. Right, that way. There we go. So yes, what's it say? 15 minutes remaining. So let's see how it goes. It's an experiment. It's a learning situation. It's all good, isn't it? See you in a bit. Did you hear that? It says, I'll hold it there. It says remove from the heat. Yes, so I shall do exactly that. Let's remove it from the heat, shall we? Lift the lid off. There you have it. I'll put the lid over here, out the way for the time being. Bring me board, which has been cleaned down, by the way. I've cleaned it down. And there we go. Now whether or not we've actually got crackling remains to be seen, but we now have to rest. So it says resting 10 minutes it says. So let's just roll that round so you can see it. There it is. And have we got crackle? No, we were starting but we didn't quite get there. Right, we'll let that rest for 10 minutes and then we'll see where it goes from there, and I shall have a taste at it and see what it's like. Right, well, the meter tells me that there's 3 minutes remaining, but it also tells me that we're at 64 degrees internal and I want it at 63 degrees. There you are, look. And I've had a little thought. So first thing I'm going to do is whip the meter probe out. Come out, that's it. So, crackling. What I'm going to do here is whip the string off, because we don't need that. That'll not be necessary at all. And the other one. And I have to say it feels good already. But now what I want to try, just to see if it'll work, I'm going to have a bit blast at it with this, and why not? It's meant for culinary stuff, so we'll have a bit chuck and see if we can't get some crackleization happening. What I thought, some of it might be rather more than caramelised. So we can get that bit to go. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Right, that's it, done. Shove that back out the way. And now that we're up to temperature, let's carve a chunk off. I'm sorry you'll be saying this not the right way, but never mind. It can't be helped. Outside piece. Chopping through, and it's cutting easily, so that's good. Nah, it hasn't crackled. Alright, let's turn this round. And there's the piece that's come off. So what I'm going to do is just take a bit off this end, as you do. And that skin hasn't crackled at all, so we'll get shot of that bit of fat and skin and chop into this and have a chew and see what it's like. I've always liked a bit of pork, and I'm sorry if you hear the mouth juices going on, because it's where the microphone is, just here. It's right beside my mouth and the camera picks it up terribly. Can't help it, sorry. Don't actually care. Right. This is lovely. You can hear how juicy it is. And if I just poke here, look, you can see how tender it is. You can see the meat separating nicely. And it's just so juicy. The flavour is gorgeous. It's not melting in your mouth, but pork never is. Well, pork shoulder can be, pork belly can be. This is beautiful. It's really nice. I'm going to enjoy this for my tea. Now, what have we learned? Well, having licked my fingers, I'll not be touching that until I take it back in and wash my hands. What have we learned about the Thueros, the briquettes, and the BBQ Hood? Well, let's let me try and talk you through what I've learned today. And I've learned a lot, it has to be said. I've learned an awful lot. Firstly, those briquettes are relatively easy to light. In larger quantities, they're very much easier to light in a chimney. That's never going to be a problem, I don't think. The hood seems to work quite nicely, thank you. And if it settles out at 150 degrees, and I need to check that out more. If it's going to settle out at 150 degrees and stay there for donkey's ages, that's enough. I don't know whether it's this that's inaccurate, the meter that is, the meter on the Thueros meter, or whether it's the meter probe, which has a tendency to read low. I don't know, because the meter probe has read low compared to everything else I've used it with. I don't know which way it is, but I'll find out. What I do know is this Thueros is going to work very nicely out in the open air. At the moment, as you can see, I'm in the barbecue gazebo. I don't know what you would call it. The barbecue cave. We'll call it the barbecue cave. In here it's working great. It hasn't smoked. Not worth a damn. I've been able to breathe. That's always good. You need to be able to breathe, especially in this day and age. Yeah, I'm pleased I got it, and I can see that being loaded into the back of the car for trips out when we're allowed out, to barbecue, you know, go out for the day out onto the moors or somewhere pretty and nice without too many other people, because I'm going to get used to that. And yeah, I think it'll be cracking. I like it. It's neat. It's goodly sized. It's not a bad size at all. Sorry, a little bit of hiccups there. Pork always does that to me. And I really want to belch, but I'm not going to do that on camera. So yes, it's turning out to be, I think, a cracking purchase. Just look at the state of what you can cook on it. Look at that. That is absolutely perfect pork. Done inside an hour and a half, start to finish, from lighting the charcoal to actually being able to eat it. I don't think anybody can complain at that. I certainly wouldn't. So yes, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If I can ask you, please, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. It helps the channel out enormously. I'm not entirely certain how it helps the channel out enormously, but it does. And I know that more people have watched than have subscribed. So if you don't mind, just click the subscribe button and press that little bell. And if you press that little bell, the dingly donglies go off every time I post some more rubbish up for you to have a look at. And then you can come and take the mickey out of us in the comments down there. It's where the comments go, don't you know? So yes, please leave a comment. Have you got a Thueros? Do you use one? Would you like one? Would you like it if I could get a deal together that's exclusive to people that watch this channel? I can have a natter and see what they say. If that's of interest, let me know. I don't know what the deal would be. I'll try and negotiate something really good. Freebies or money off or whatever. See what I can come up with. You never know your luck with these things, do you? So yes, there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay lucky, stay home. Unless you've absolutely got to not to. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye now. Bye bye. Oh, pork's bloody lovely.